Welcome to the Rachel Roth Show. I am so excited to have Nicole Valance here with me today. We were chatting before we started this interview, and literally I was in tears in the first 3 minutes of our conversation, because when you just meet somebody special, you know that there's somebody special. And so all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, I started pouring my heart out and bawling my eyes out. I'm like, Nicole, what just happened? What did you do to me? We just met. But I, of course, know so much about her and have heard about her. This is just the first time that we've gotten to talk face to face. And so, Nicole, thank you so much for being here.
Rachel, I'm so excited to be here. I'm so impressed by you. It's such an honor to be on your show.
Oh, well, let me tell you a little bit about Nicole. She is an acclaimed keynote speaker, executive leadership coach, an organizational consultant. She works with high-profile leaders, influencers, and executives. She's been featured as a thought leader at Tim's Story Live and was the keynote speaker for LA Style Magazine 2023 award ceremony at the Grammy Museum. No big deal. She consults organizations on developing leaders, engaging teams, creating a culture people want to be a part of, and communicating a clear and compelling vision. She's spoken on stages with Devin Franklin, Jamie Kern-Lima, Emily Ford, Vic Keller, and Brian Covey, to name a few. She brings life and energy to every stage she speaks on. Tim Story says, if you or your company are ready for a power surge, an amazing transformation, Nicole is the one to make it happen. And let me just tell you, a power surge happened in the first 90 to 180 seconds of meeting her. And so I just have to agree with all of these people. It's just incredible. So, wow, Nicole, tell me about you. Tell us I just read this bio. I read all of this stuff about you, but tell me in a nutshell, what is it that you do?
So, Rachel, I love people. I like to tell people, we are shaped by how we grew up. And my grandma was ice cream lady and my grandpa worked for Wonder Bread. And so my grandma and grandpa, they were the doormat pushovers. Everyone was over at their house. I never heard them say not one bad thing about people. They just loved people. And that made such an impression on me when I was a little girl. And then my mom was a nurse and my dad was an engineer. And, they were just working people, working family. I grew up with, Judeo-Christian values, and we believed in God, but, maybe like most people, we just went to church on Christmas and Easter. And so, I've been working with organizations for almost 20 years, and I am so passionate, yes, Rachel, about the products and the services that we provide to our customers and our clients. But more than that, I'm so passionate about the culture and the environment and the team that we create for people that have to spend most of their life away from their friends and their family. And so that's what I'm super passionate about. I'm passionate about the work that we do, the cultures that we create, helping people tie their purpose and their life and their personal life to the work that they do for their company, so that people live their best life and they love going to work and they love what they do and they're able to be all they're called to be. And so I work with churches. I became a Christian when I was 19, and I love pastors. I love churches. But Rachel, my favorite thing to do is to work with a business owner, because I just think that the people that are in leadership, we talk about leadership as influence, but the people that are in leadership, they're the ones that are changing the lives of my sister, my brother, my mom, my dad, all the people we're connected with. And so if we can become the right kind of leader and learn how to lead organizations as servant leaders in the best way, there's just nothing better. So I'm an aunt. I snowboard. I don't cook. I eat at my sister's house every night because, she lives 10 minutes away from me. I'm single, and I'm, I just love life. I'm trying to not eat as much bad food, but, I don't have everything figured out, Rachel, but I sure do. I live in California, and I sure do love people. And that's because of how I was raised. And, I love God, and I love leaders, and I am just here. I tell leaders, right? I'm like, I'm not the best. Okay. There's probably for sure somebody out there that's better than Nicole.
Mm.
But I care and
Mm.
I'm here. And if we get connected and we start to work together in any capacity, I'm gonna lift your arms. I'm gonna be your biggest cheerleader. I'm gonna
Mm.
give you everything I've got. So that's me.
Oh my gosh, that is just amazing. I went through such extensive coaching in the, in the past, I guess probably 5 years with John Maxwell and the John Maxwell Leadership Company, and got PhD certified and all that. And it was so eye-opening for me to really learn the ins and outs of servant leadership and kind of see what that looks like on its face. And it is so transformational for companies. And then to kind of look back over my life and my career and when I used to be in corporate America and have bosses and look at their leadership and the ones that I can see my best bosses that led with servant leadership and the other ones that were self-serving, right? And the difference in the experience that I had. Where was I happy? Where was I miserable? Where was I fulfilled? Where did I feel so empty? Like it's so fascinating to look back now and to see after I've learned so much. So that's amazing. So how do you do it? Like if you walk in and somebody says, yes, I need your help leading a team, like what do you do?
Yeah. So my mobilization model is 4 phases of how do you fully engage and get a team to accomplish a vision, to accomplish your purpose. And so the first thing that I do is I walk into a company, I meet with the CEO or the business owner, the executive leadership team, and we start the conversation with, why do we exist? Why does what we do matter? Like, why our company? Because if our company doesn't have a mission and if it doesn't have a purpose, then it really doesn't matter. Why are we in business? So that's the first thing is who are we passionate about reaching? And Rachel, I cannot tell you like how many leaders I speak to, and they're just going through the motions and trying to make the money and clocking in and clocking out, but they're not filled with life and passion. And so their people aren't filled with life and passion. And so the first thing I do is we sit around and we have a conversation about, why does it matter that we get up and go to work for this company? Why does it matter that people sign up to work for you? And so it starts with vision and mission. And so when I'm working with a company, that's where we start is what is the vision? Why do you exist? What is the culture that you want to create in your company exactly? And then what do you want everybody to do to get there? And one of my favorite things to do is meet with the staff, executive leadership team, and say, okay, what is your purpose for your personal life? Because Rachel, there are so many people that do not know what their purpose is, why they're here. They're going to work. Maybe they're a mom, they're an accountant, they're going to Target, they're buying the clothes, they're going to Costco, and they're going through the motions, but they aren't really sure what their purpose is. And I think we have a tremendous responsibility as business owners, as leaders, to help people understand the purpose that they were created for and how working for and with our company is going to help accomplish that. And so if we can create a connection between the mission and purpose of the company and the mission and purpose of our life, people become alive. And then we give them not a job to do, but a career, but a purpose, a reason for coming into work each and every single day.
Wow. In the top of your website, it says, mobilize your mission. And I was just thinking through like those words. And I think you're so right that so many people are missing their purpose. They're missing their identity. They're missing their mission in life. And so the fact that you even bring it to the forefront of their mind, the fact that you even, have them think about that. I think most people go through life, right? Scrolling on their phone, getting home, like eating a quick dinner or picking something up on the way home, and then turning on Netflix. And you just numb out. And then the years go by, and then what do you have to show for it? Nothing. And so I love that there's so much more purpose in life, and that you are bringing that to life for people. So You scale, engage, and encourage teams. I mean, that's what every business owner and every leader that I know wants to do.
Yeah.
How did you figure out how to do that? Like, how did you learn how to do that?
So I started my first church when I was 19 years old.
You started the church?
Started the church with my
Wow.
ex-husband, and it was phenomenal. And it was the very first church that we planted together, and we grew it to 350 volunteers. You know, we had people listening to our message in 140 countries, and there is something that you have to learn to get people who work regular jobs, who have regular lives, to commit to volunteering for your organization. I mean, you just learn a thing or two about how do you engage people, and how do you have a mission, and how do you develop leaders. And so that was the start of my journey with organizations. And then now just, I plant churches, I consult churches, and the work that I do with organizations. I've developed such a passion for creating workplaces. Simon Sinek talks about it. Start with why. Tony Hsieh, Delivering Happiness. I mean, Jim Collins, Good to Great, right? They talk about the incredible impact that we can have when we learn how to lead and engage teams. And so I have just become obsessed about it. And Rachel, I'll say this. I know that some of your listeners are Christian or not Christian. There is this myth that there is a separation between the sacred and the secular. And what I have found is that people do not understand that God is looking for distribution channels. And we tend to think that the distribution channel, the important people, are maybe the pastors or the priests or the church leaders. No, the work that we do in our regular ordinary life as leaders is so sacred. It's so holy. It means so much. And I think that if I can help people understand who they are called to reach, how to get people around them to reach those people, it changes everything, Rachel. Most of our lives are spent not at church on Sunday. If we go to church at all, they're spent with our families. They're spent with our companies. They're spent with our kids. They're spent in our regular, ordinary lives. And so if we can help people discover their purpose, help them do work that really matters, get them in the right seat, inspire them, encourage them, it makes all the difference. And you cannot do this, Rachel, for the woman that's listening, that owns a business, that leads a team. Sometimes we think we have to know everything. No, we think we have to have an MBA. Doesn't matter. We think that we have to have all this experience. No, you don't. Here's what you have to do. You have to have one-on-one meetings with your direct reports each and every single week. If you're a leader in any capacity, you need to be meeting with no less than 3 and no more than 12 of the people that you lead, you work with, you develop each and every single week. And Rachel, listen, this might be controversial, but I'm just going to say it. If you have people that work for you and you don't know the names of their kids, what grade they're in, their birthdays, or the anniversary of their husband and wife, and you don't know what's going on in their regular life, what their hobbies are, then you are an irresponsible leader. It is irresponsible to have people work for you and you not know what's going on in their personal life. It doesn't mean that you have to counsel them and do all the things, but you have to care. You have to actually, people are giving their life to you at work. And if they're going to spend all the time away from their friends and family, then they need a leader that actually cares about them, that's invested in them. And if the leader will spend time doing a no less than a 30-minute meeting each and every single week saying, who are you? What's going on in your life? What's going on? How are your kids doing? How's your husband? Just the touching base that we think is superficial. It's not. It's really not. Most people don't have people that know them, love them, care about them, are checking in. And so if leaders will do just that, that is the number one thing that they can do to start to engage their team. And then, there's a couple other things that they can do in those meetings, like, celebrating the culture that they are loving that person's doing, coaching them and helping them get better with exactly what their job is. But just having a meeting where we're checking in with people, slowing down, saying, I know that we've got to do all these things, but how are you and what's going on in your life? That makes all the difference in the word, Rachel. And the truth is even if we're the stay-at-home mom, or, we're leading a PTA meeting, we all have 2 or 3 or 4 people in our life that we can have coffee with, that we can have a phone call with, that we can develop. And so that's where purpose starts to kick in, Rachel, for people, is when they realize that They might not be leading a company of, 65 employees, 100 employees. They might not be managing $100 million budget each and every single year, but there are other people, parents, moms at their kids' schools that they work with, that they go to school with, that they shop at the grocery store with, that they can impact. Rachel, people come alive. We were all created to lead, and we all have someone that we can meet with to care about and love on.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm sitting here super just called on the carpet over this because I'm thinking about different places that I've been in my life where I did not lead that well. And I did not meet one-on-one and ask those kinds of questions. Like that makes so much sense to me. And I'm just thinking about the level of productivity and the increase in productivity. If somebody treated me that way as an employee, like what would I turn around and do for that company and for that organization? There's actually no end in sight for what I would do for a company that I felt actually cared about me and a boss that cared about me that way. And it's funny. I had one boss, Don Spangler, and to this day, best boss I ever had. He was the one that did all of those things. He was the one that cared about me, cared about my life, cared about, we are still in touch to this day. We were just texting the other day. This was years ago, 10 years ago, and we are still in touch. Since I worked for him, it's been 10 years. And I'm just amazed at how I've never thought about this before, but it's all like coming full circle. Every single thing you're saying is so spot on.
It's so practical, Rachel. Like Gallup did this study 2019, it's called the Great Resignation.
Mm-hmm.
Most people quit on companies long before they put in their 2 weeks notice. And 80% of people at work, Rachel, are disengaged. 80%, they're disengaged. And 1 out of 5 of those people are miserable. And Gallup, when they did the study, found that 70% of employee engagement is directly connected to their direct supervisor. And that when we have employees that are engaged, we see a minimum of a 23% increase in profitability. And that employees that are disengaged, Rachel, it costs US companies alone $450 billion each and every single year. So these soft skills, the meeting with the people, the caring about it, some leaders think that they're above it. You're not above it. It multiplies your impact and it multiplies your profitability when you meet with people, when you care about people, when you can help them connect why they exist and what their personal purpose is with why the company exists. Because let's face it, Rachel, we're in business. All businesses, if they're profitable, solve a problem or a person. That's it. That's what business is. It's you have a problem and we have a solution. Coach Burt says, Michael Burt, who's phenomenal, he says, money changes hands when problems are solved. And so if we're in business, we're in the business of solving problems for people. And if we as a business can find a person that we care about, that we love, that we want to serve and solve their problems, oh my gosh, that's where purpose starts to happen. Wow. Why we exist is always tied to who we are called to serve. And so this is true for businesses, for leaders. And that's why, Rachel, for the woman that's at home who's going to work and is stuck and just going through the motions, I would challenge that woman to think about, what does your heart break for? Who do you care about? And then how can you help that person? We think about great leaders, Rachel, like Billy Graham, Martin Luther King Jr., Mother Teresa. Well, these great leaders and these great organizations, they are led by people that are convicted and passionate, not just about what could be, but what should be. And I tell people, Rachel, I say, we cannot imagine a world where Martin Luther King Jr. didn't, have the great impact during the civil rights movement, and Billy Graham didn't share the gospel all around the world, and Mother Teresa, didn't feed the poor in Calcutta. But Rachel, what if Mother Teresa would have known the poor in Calcutta that she was called to feed, but decided to only feed herself? How stuck and isolated would she have been? What if Billy Graham would have known the impact his life was going to make and the people he was going to lead to Christ all around the world, but decided to stay quiet, decided to keep that good news all to himself? What if Martin Luther King would have known his dream, this vision that he was able to see that he had, but decided that, you know what? I'm going to stay quiet. I'm not going to tell people about my dream. That's why people are frustrated, because they have something that God has put in their heart. They have somebody that their heart breaks for, and they have been unwilling to do something about it. And so I want to challenge your listeners, Rachel, whether they're the stay-at-home mom or they're the boss babe CEO. Who are you called to? There is someone who has a problem that you are called to help. And until you get about the business of figuring out how you can help that person, and I don't care if it's one person or if it's 1 million, you must get about the business of figuring out how you can serve that one person and solve their problem and make them better. And if your listeners will do that, if we'll do that in our lives, all of a sudden, joy, peace, purpose, excitement, passion begins to flood. And it matters. It absolutely matters, Rachel. Jesus turned the whole world upside down with 12 people. We can turn our whole entire world upside down by just speaking life into 3 to 12. That's the game changer. And everyone can do that. Everyone has 3 to 12 people that they can impact with their life. And as a business leader and a business owner, you do not have to do this for 1,000 employees. If you do it for 3 to 12 and you create a culture in your organization where people are doing these one-on-one meetings to start, there's a lot of other things I teach business owners to do, but if they'll start there, it will transform their company and it will transform the lives. We must do this, Rachel. We're given one life. We don't get a do-over. Reality. Okay. We cannot afford to go through the motions. We just can't. And if you're a leader, I'm so sorry. Quit. If you're not going to be responsible, quit. Don't go to work. Don't show up. But if you are a leader, you are responsible for making people's lives better, not just your customers, your employees.
You know, I was watching that video on your website, your intro video where you reference Martin Luther King, Mother Teresa, and Billy Graham. And what if they didn't? Just, echoing what you just said, what if they didn't fulfill that purpose that they were called to do? And in no way do I think that I have a purpose that big or whatever. Like, I don't, but I was so convicted watching that, going, I play small all the time, and I keep things to myself. And it's not out of selfishness, it's out of fear. It's out of fear of putting myself out there, fear of what other people think, fear of judgment, fear of, I don't know why, but I like can absolutely recognize in myself that I get ideas, I get inspiration, I get things, and I keep it to myself instead of acting on it. And it was so convicting watching that. It was like a 30-second video. And I felt like I needed to jump out of my chair and like go like run or do something. Like I needed to like take action, because it is just so true that we do have a purpose. Some are big and some are small, but we have a purpose, and it is my responsibility to act on those things and not be selfish with them. Man, it's just absolutely incredible. So you definitely do life coaching for women. And you help women get unstuck, which I think is just such a beautiful thing, because I have, so many women are in this stage where they had young children, and so they needed to stay home with their kids. And then all of a sudden, either their kids graduate and go on, whatever, or for me, my kids are going into full-time school. So now both kids are going to be in school all day. And all of a sudden I'm going to have all this availability on my hands when the kids are at school. Is life still busy? Heck yes, life is still busy, but I'm going to have a block of time. And I can see how women who don't have a business, are not moving in the right direction. And I've seen them and I know them. They do feel stuck and they don't know their purpose and they don't know whatever. And so talk to me a little bit about the life coaching to help women get unstuck, or maybe they're in a job that they hate, Nicole. Like, I don't know. Talk to me about this.
Yeah. So once you discover your purpose, who you're called to serve and how you can help them, that stays with you throughout the rest of your life. It doesn't matter what kind of job you have, where you go, your purpose is always connected to the person that you're called to serve. And so, Rachel, I tell women, give me 3 months, and your life will be radically changed. Radically changed. One of the women that I started working with a couple of years ago, and her story just means so much to me because she is 65 years old. She was a nurse, and she had been praying, asking people, asking other mentors, what's her purpose? What's her calling? And she'd been told over and over again, you just need to find your passion. You just need to find out what excites you. And I told her, no, you don't need to find your passion. Passion is always meant to follow you finding the person that you're called to reach and you're called to help. Passion follows you helping that person solve problems. Wow. And so I started coaching her and started developing her. We spent 3 months together, and we did this retreat after the 3 months we spent together. And she invited all of the people at her hospital that she worked with. We had 15 women at this retreat, and we helped these other women over 3 days discover who they are, what their purpose was. And, just in tears, she's in tears, and the women that she worked with are in tears, because had she not found her purpose at work as a nurse, if she had not found her purpose, she would not have been able to help these other women find their purpose. Again, I'm just helping the one, and then she's helping the 3 to 12, and it changed their lives. And so I love coaching women, Rachel, helping them discover their purpose practically. Like I tell people, like, enough of the theory, enough, we don't need to do another strength finders test, nothing wrong with that. No more Enneagram tests, nothing wrong with that. But your purpose is so much deeper. The problem that you're called to solve is so much bigger. And so, yeah, if your listeners, if they'll text like connected to 33777, they can set up a free strategy call with me. And then the business owner, Rachel, I do like life coaching for the business owner, for the business leader, the entrepreneur, right? The CEO, the executive. And through coaching that woman, and then through consulting her organization, we're able to change so many lives. And it doesn't really matter what we do. It matters why we do it and who we're doing it for.
Wow. Wow.
Let me give you this last example, Rachel, about that, because something, if someone goes to work to sell life insurance, right? It's like, what do you do? I sell life insurance. Like, people might not be that excited about it, right? But Rachel, like, you imagine 2 employees wake up on Monday morning to go sell life insurance, and one doesn't want to get out of bed, doesn't really want to go to work. Okay. The other employee cannot wait to get out of bed, cannot wait to go to work, is so excited, brags about, I sell life insurance for a living. The other person's like, I sell life insurance for like, right. Like, I don't, kind of embarrassed about it maybe, or doesn't think it's that important. Okay. So what they do is the same, but then why is one waking up on Monday morning super excited and fully engaged and can't wait to go to work, and the other one not? What's the difference? Well, I'll tell you what the difference is. Let's call the employee Josh. Let's say that he's the one that wants to wake up and go to work on Monday morning. Well, last week, Josh's boss met with him during their one-on-one meeting, and Josh's boss told Josh the story of Mary, who tragically lost her husband in a motorcycle accident the week before. And had Josh not sold Mary and her husband and their children a life insurance policy, Mary would not know how she was going to pay her mortgage or where their next meal was going to come from. And all of a sudden, Josh started to understand who Mary and her kids he was serving by selling life insurance, how he was helping them, what problem he was solving. And so he gets up and goes to work on Monday morning. We pray that that doesn't happen to anybody, but there might be somebody that it does happen for. And now Josh all of a sudden doesn't care about meeting his monthly sales goals. He cares about reaching that woman and her children, or that man and his children, because might just be selling life insurance to one employee, but for another, he's thinking about that family that might just be 1 out of every 10 or 20. I don't know the stats, but he's thinking about that family that he's going to help when a crisis hits their life. And so it doesn't matter what we do, Rachel, in our lives. It matters why we do it and who we're doing it for.
That's so true.
Yeah.
It is so, so true. This is just, my mind is like spinning. I'm taking notes like crazy. That's just amazing. I coach a guy, he's a sales coach. And I was listening to a seminar from him one day, and he said, it was during the Olympics. And he said, hey guys, I looked some information up, and it confirmed what I already knew was true. I looked up to see if every single Olympian had a coach that helped them. And yes, 100% of those Olympians, 100% of the athletes had a coach, right? And he said, do you have a coach? How many of you have a coach, right? And I was like, oh, I don't have a coach. And it hit me like a ton of bricks, because I was, muddling through and trying to kind of get through my life and understand like what path I was on and what direction I was going. And, it's like an Olympian trying to get to the Olympics without a coach. They need somebody to help guide them, keep them accountable, all of that. And so I think that so many people don't think they're a good candidate for a coach. They don't think that they're like, I don't know if I should even have a coach. I'm a stay-at-home mom, or I'm whatever, right? And they don't think that they're necessarily worthy of that, or that it's a good fit for them. But the truth is that wherever you are in life, a coach is a great idea. A coach is a phenomenal idea. And every single principle that you laid out today just hits home. It's just incredible. And you are the coach that people need. We need your message spread in this world. Because can you imagine the world that we would live in? Like, can you imagine the place that we would be if everybody had this idea and lived by these principles?
Rachel, it's so important. And that our heart must break. Our heart can't break for everybody, but our heart must break for somebody. And one of the things, Rachel, that begins to happen is we begin to be passionate about policies, procedures, politics. And it's very dangerous for us to get passionate about programs, policies, politics, and not be super passionate and care deeply about the people on the left or the right or the middle that are affected by those politics and policies. And so I think that when we're grounded and we have somebody speaking into our life, and then we're speaking into other people's lives, we're forced to deal with not the high level, but the messy middle life of people. And it changes you. It changes your life when you have somebody that's investing in you, and then it changes your life when you're investing in somebody else. And so coaching is very important, Rachel. Again, it's not what we're doing, what our politics are, what we're doing at our jobs. It's who are we helping? And it makes all the difference in the world. And I think it's incredibly important. We cannot be happy. We cannot have passion. We cannot have purpose unless we have somebody that our heart breaks for, unless we have somebody that we care about, that we're going after, that we're wanting to serve.
So if there's somebody listening right now and they're like, okay, but Nicole, I don't know who my heart breaks for. I don't know. I know what hits my radar, but I don't know if I could impact anybody's life. I don't know who I'm called to serve. Is that something what would you tell that woman?
Yeah. So we are able to give to others what we have been given. Okay. So we comfort others with the same comfort that we've been given. And a lot of times we discredit ourselves. We disqualify ourselves. We have that imposter syndrome because we think that we're not an expert and competent in some area. Well, no, you are. You have gone through depression. You've gone through maybe being anorexic. You've gone through feeling frustrated and alone as a mom, as a wife. You have gone through something. You have overcome some struggle. You have seen it to the other side. And so you absolutely can be a light, give voice, give encouragement, give help to somebody. And you might think that it's insignificant, but what might seem insignificant to you can absolutely be life-changing for somebody else. And so, it's so important that we just understand that we were designed to help people come out of what we've come through. And so, no, you don't have to coach everybody on all the things, but you can help someone with something. And it might be a teenager in high school. It might be that young 20-something-year-old, but you can certainly encourage and help someone. We're all called to be some kind of leader, some kind of mom, a god mom, mentor to somebody else in some area. It doesn't really matter what it is. It could be in cooking. It could be in being a wife. It could be in being a mom. It could be in any area, Rachel. But until you understand that life is about the person that you're called to reach and the problem that you're called to solve, you will be frustrated. You will not have passion. You cannot be happy. You will not have purpose. And we're all called to it. Otherwise, what are we here for?
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing?
And you know, what it really starts with is you understanding, this is what we were talking about before, is yes, like your purpose and your identity. Like, who are you? You know, and really kind of peeling back those layers of who are you and what were you created for? What's different about you, because you were uniquely made,
Right?
Different than everybody else on the planet. And so when you figure that out, I'm sitting here thinking about like the different people that could be served, right? Like we have a 14-year-old daughter, and I'm just thinking about, you know, somebody who vividly remembers their freshman year of high school and could reach her in a way that, you know, could speak life into her and confidence into her. She's a beautiful, amazing girl, but everybody at 14 years old is struggling with things, right? So it's just like, you're so right that every single person has a story and an identity that they can pour into somebody else and use it to lift other people up. And I wish that there was more of that in the world. So, I mean, you do it all. You do it all. So you can not only coach a leader and teach an organization how to increase engagement, encouragement, scale your team, scale your business through that, but you also lead individual women in understanding their purpose in life. And I mean, those two things are so, so beautiful. You mentioned to me when we were chatting before that if I texted lead to 33777, that you would send me an article that's like the best leadership article you've ever read. I want to read it. So tell me more about that.
Yeah. So Daniel Goleman, who you may have heard and your listeners may have heard, to the 4 areas of emotional intelligence: EQ, we need to have IQ, and we need to have EQ, right? So Daniel Goleman wrote an article for Harvard Business Review, and he titled it Leadership That Gets Results. And he defined the 6 different leadership styles based on the 4 areas of emotional intelligence that we all need to be able to use to have the greatest impact in our organizations. I don't golf, Rachel, but he says that if you do golf, you need to be able to use your driver, your wedge, your putter, right? You need to be able to use all of these different clubs to be effective in the game of golf. Well, if we want to be effective leading organizations, we must learn how to operate in these 6 different styles, and they're all attached to an area of emotional intelligence. And so, yeah, if your listeners will text that lead to 33777, I'll send them the PDF of that, and then I'll send them a leadership assessment that they can take, where they'll be able to identify their top 2 leadership styles and the ones that they need to work on. And the reason I think, Rachel, this is the most important article that they can read on leadership, and I don't say that lightly, is because our organizations and our teams go through different cycles, and we lead different types of people. And sometimes we think that leaders are just born. And I understand, Rachel, there's some of us that are born with maybe more charisma and, you know, but leadership can be learned. And so if you can learn, I can golf, I don't golf, but I can do it. And if I practice, I could get better. And so for the leader that wants to have a greater impact on their organization, they can learn the skill of leadership. Leaders are developed, I believe. And so if they'll learn these 6 different styles, they'll be able to know what club to use with different types of people and in different seasons of their organization to have the greatest impact.
Yeah, that's incredible. Well, I'm texting that number as soon as we finish here, because I want all of that information. And if somebody wants to get connected with you, if they want to follow you, if they want to set up a call, like a discovery call to see if this is a good fit for them, can you tell me the best place for them to find you?
Sure. So the best place is to go to my website. It's connectedwithnicole.com. So if they'll go to connectedwithnicole.com, they'll see all the different things that I do. And then also if your listeners just want to set up a free strategy call with me, if they'll text connected to that 33777 number, so connected to 33777, I'll send them the link to set up a free call. And Rachel, if I could just tell your listeners, that, man, like, I love you and I'm here for you. And if you have been struggling in your business, I want to help you. If you have been questioning, what is my purpose and who am I called to help? And what is the meaning of my life? And like, I want to help you. Like, at a minimum, give me 30 minutes. You don't have to sign up for my programs, but at a minimum, like, let me speak life into you for 30 minutes, one-on-one. Because that's why I exist. I exist to help people discover their purpose. I exist to serve that business leader, that business owner that has a mission, that has a purpose that matters, and just wants help mobilizing and engaging a team to get it done.
Man,
I'm not the best option, Rachel. I promise you, there's other people smarter and better, but Rachel, I care so much. And so if your listeners will get connected with me, I'm going to do my best to lift their arms, to encourage their heart, and to just to strengthen them and to get them free resources and help, if nothing else.
Yeah. It's impossible not to see your heart and how much you do care. I mean, and it's rare in this world of just sort of like social media and like the lack of human connection. And there is just such a human element to what you do. And you truly desire to connect with people. And I think that's so special. And that is so needed in this world. And so, listen, if you have any inkling to get on a call with Nicole, she's offering a free strategy call. Like, do not miss this opportunity, because she is going to change your life. Like, she will. It is incredible what she's doing and this message. And she's just going to help you look at your life and look at your circumstances and look at everything through a different lens. And sometimes that's what we need to kind of get unstuck. And I just think that's such a beautiful way to say it. So Nicole, I just can't thank you enough for being here. Thank you so much. You poured into my soul today. Like, I feel like my cup is like overflowing. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Rachel. It's been such an honor. I'm so excited to get to know you even more. Thanks so much, Rachel.
Thank you. We'll talk to you very soon.